Thank you, everybody, for coming out on this frigid Saturday afternoon. My name is Glennis Johns. I'm the founder of the Black Scranton Project. Walking up the stairs is our director of programming, Ms. Heather Rhodes. And we are super excited to be here for the third year in a row. I just wanted to take a couple minutes really quick to say a few words about Black History Month, about this year, about Scranton, and Black history. In this program, I gave you guys a little bit of information about the Pan-African flag, what it means, Black History Month. But this year, I really wanted to spotlight Black History Month and what the national theme is this year. So the national theme for Black History Month this year is Black Health and Wellness. So each year, there's a theme that guides the celebration of Black History Month across the nation. The theme for 2022 is centered around the importance of Black health and wellness. This year, we celebrate by honoring the legacy of Black scholars, medical practitioners, and healers of all kinds. We bring attention and intention to the wellness activities, initiatives, and rituals of the Black community. Historically, Black people have embarked on self-determination, mutual aid, social support initiatives to support and maintain the health and wellness of themselves and their community. There is an African-American proverb, so to speak, that says, when white folks catch a cold, Black folks get pneumonia. And I know some of y'all have heard that before. And the reason I added this here is not only because ASALH, the Association for the Study of African-American Life and History, reminded me of this old folks term, but it's definitely relevant today when we think about the COVID-19 pandemic, the disparities between health and wellness across racial boundaries. And here in Scranton specifically, I wanted to use that phrase and the national theme of Black health and wellness to remember Dr. James E. Foster, in alignment with this year's theme for Black History Month. And I want to give a little history about Dr. James E. Foster. Dr. James E. Foster started practicing here in the city of Scranton in the early 1900s, around 1917, I believe. I can't remember the date exactly, but he graduated from Howard University, and he also went to Yale Medical School. After he graduated, he came to Harrisburg and then ended up practicing medicine here in the city of Scranton. He actually had an office right here on this block of North Washington Avenue, just right there at 310 actually, which is pretty fantastic. He was one of the only few doctors that were taking patients during the 1918 influenza pandemic. And during that time, he even had patients that weren't able to afford their care, and he was doing that for them. When National Negro Health Week was instilled nationally, Dr. James E. Foster made it a point to bring those initiatives here in the city and make sure that the Black community had all of those wellness initiatives and programs available to them. At this time, mutual aid wasn't widely available to the Black community, so he was one of the people to make sure that happened. In addition to being one of the first people to say, we need to have a community center. We need to have a space that is for us and by us and for the city, that's helping us educate our kids, provide resources, and so on. And through that, the Progressive Center that we know today was founded. So when I started to uncover this history and build the Black Scranton Project and build this community organization, I pretty much followed the steps implemented by Dr. James E. Foster and the Black community that was here trying to build on those things. So as we move forward, I just want us to remember that there is a lively, beautiful community. Many of you guys are represented here, standing here in solidarity, not with just me and our organization, but with ourselves and each other. So I thank you guys for that. I thank you guys for believing in community, believing in Black Scranton Project, and believing in the city for being a working and inclusive space. So with that long monologue, I will begin the program. So thank you all for being here and bearing the cold with all of us. I would like to introduce Mayor Paige Cognetti to welcome us to the program.
Hello, Mayor. How you doing? Glennis, thank you. Thank you to everyone out here, the DPW guys just rolled out before we got started, but a big thanks to DPW for helping out. This was not a sidewalk we could clear just ourselves with a shovel. It is so wonderful to be here. Glynis and your board, you guys work so hard every day in the city. Thank you for making it possible that this is our 3rd annual Pan-African flag raising at the city of Scranton. I judge time by this event because this was one of the only events we got to do in 2020 pre-pandemic as we took office in our new administration. So this is always a special day for me personally, and thank you, Glynis, and your team for everything that you do. I'm also wearing red today. Yesterday was Wear Red Day, but as we all know, we were pretty cooped up in our homes. Those of us who had the ability to work from home were yesterday. So I'm wearing red in solidarity with what Glynis just mentioned about health. 1 in 3 women die of heart disease. It's a quiet killer of women, and we need to raise more awareness about health. And the heart disease statistics, my understanding is that Black and Hispanic women are very much plagued by this. Again, it's kind of a silent killer for women, so we've got to do a better job of promoting that. I see some great medical students here in Scranton with us. You guys know this better than us. But please, support these health initiatives. Be pushing out information to your friends. As I stand here, I can't help but say that I know this sounds off topic, but the 5G conversion means that 3G, not just your 3G cell phones, but also life alert devices are going offline. So when I learned this, I wanted to share it far and wide wherever I go in the next couple of months. My grandmother is 96 years old. She doesn't even have a cell phone, but she does have a life alert. And so I made sure to tell my dad to make sure her life alert is up to date. So in the spirit of health and keeping all of our family members, our community members healthy, please pass that along to your family and friends. Thank you all for being here. I love that this event is growing and growing and growing. It's a little cold today, so I think some of our RSVPs fell through. And I see Maggie Nasser in the crowd too. Maggie Nasser Martinelli, excuse me, ma'am. The ICE Festival coming together last year, making this event our Pan-African flag raising, the Plant Scranton Project, celebrating and opening Black History Month, in addition to the ICE Festival, really just kicks off a really cool weekend tradition in Scranton here, that despite the ice, despite the cold, because of the great work of DPW and Scranton PD and the fire department, we were able to have these events. We're able to do it with the support of Black Scranton Project, with the support of the new NAACP here in Lackawanna County. We're able to do it with the support of all of our friends and community members. And I also wanted to get a shout to the KIT COVID-19 group. The KIT COVID-19 group has done an incredible job for this community as we've tried to get vaccines out into the community. We've tried to get shots in arms. KIT COVID meets every single Friday morning to get that information out, to get translators at whatever vaccine clinic is going on. And I'm so appreciative to Jennifer, to Michelle, for everybody who's a part of that. So thank you all for being here. Again, this event really is one of my very favorite things we do every year, and we couldn't do it without you. Glynis, we couldn't do it without you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Cognetti. We appreciate you so much. I'll just give a quick rundown of the program as we proceed, because there are some changes. So after we have a musical selection, we will have our speakers. The first speaker that we will have today, following the musical selection, is Ty Holmes, representing the Lackawanna. Oh, sorry, I apologize. I was just giving a quick rundown of quick rundown of the program. Sorry, the cold literally scrambles my brain. So after we have a musical selection, we will have our invited speakers, and then we will close with another musical selection, raise the flag, and have a couple closing remarks, and then I will release you from this cold weather. So without further ado, one of my dear friends, beautiful singer, local college student at Wilkes University, my good friend, Kathin Ermias, is going to sing Lift Every Voice and Sing to begin our program. If you haven't heard her sing the Black National Anthem before, when we had our Juneteenth block party at our Center for Arts and Culture, she actually made the sunshine, so maybe she'll bring it a couple of degrees warmer out here. No pressure or anything, sis, but We appreciate you and we love you, so thank you for being here. And I will pass the mic to you if you're ready.
Lift every voice and sing until earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound high as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun till our new day begun. Let us march on until victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat had not our weary feet come to a place for which our fathers sighed. Oh, so we have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Oh, God of our wearies, the God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far along the way, thou who has by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, and lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land, native land.
Give it up one more time for Catherine, y'all. Wow, what a great day. I'm telling you, that warmed me up, I'm telling you, it really did. So the next speaker I'm so honored to bring up here to the steps of City Hall is Ty Holmes. He is currently the president of the Lackawanna County NAACP chapter. I hope I'm saying that properly. And also on the Scranton School Board of Directors. So we appreciate your contributions to the area, and thank you so much for participating today.
Good morning, or should I say good afternoon? Good afternoon. First and foremost, thank you all for coming out. I know it's a cold day. Thank you to the Black Scranton Project for making sure that this happened. Thank you to the mayor for ensuring that happens every year. We greatly appreciate it. Our community really does take notice of all that you're doing, so we greatly appreciate it. Mayor Connors, thank you for coming. Fire Chief, Police Chief, thank you guys for coming. We greatly appreciate it. People of color around the community, around the country have been facing harsh repercussions of systematic racism for centuries. Minority groups are often treated as criminals, terrorists, and outcasts due solely to the color of their skin or religious affiliation rather than the individual character. An uprising has taken place over the last few years to protest the active and silent racism across the country. This fight is nothing new to people of color. We have been fighting to be treated as equals for generations. In order for people of color to achieve equality and unconditional freedom, we must acknowledge the existence of a systematic racism and be willing to have the conversations in open spaces, because the silence is the reason why systematic racism continues to manifest in our society. Systemic racism is a concept that presents disadvantages to people of color and complicates their ability to take part in society on the same economic level as those not of color. Systemic racism is rooted in housing insecurities, employment opportunities, income, education, incarceration rates, healthcare, and voting laws. One example of systemic racism in America is that people of color who live in impoverished neighborhoods have a greater difficulty getting loans because those areas are, forgive me, it's, sorry, they do not want to come apart. Wow. Considered too risky to invest. The issue is known as redlining and began in the 20th century in this country and is still going on. Some people deny that systemic racism exists. Many people believe discussing these issues only speaks them into existence. Thus, the ideal of talking about systemic racism is the real problem. In recent years, the most visible evidence of systemic racism has been in the public policy arena, where some lawmakers have launched attacks against affirmative action programs in the education, employment, and voting laws. Americans often forget that as late as the 1960s, most African American, Latinos, and Native American students were educated in segregated schools funded at many times lower than those school districts where minorities were, where the minorities were an anemic number. The end of legal segregation, followed by the efforts to equalize spending, began in the 1970s. The increased opportunities for students of color and their achievements did increase, but those steps were minor. We continue to see the separation in education and in funding in those schools where minority students have a large footprint. Almost. We don't have to look any further than our own district. The Scranton School District is currently operating under state-imposed financial recovery mandate, and according to the state's own fair funding formula, we are shortchanged over $30 million a year. The Scranton School District receives less than half of the funding, that to equivalent of a school district in Pennsylvania the same size. Our children deserve better. 63% of our students are minorities and speak over 40 different languages. The challenges they face are worsened by the lack of educational resources, our related arts programs, and our schools in desperate need of repairs and upgrades. We call on lawmakers to stand and fight in Harrisburg for fair funding for all of our students. Failure to do so will continually perpetuate the cycle of systemic racism. So how do we do this? How do we go about ending systemic racism? We correct others who use insensitive language and educate them about racism. We continually speak out to help people of color achieve equality and freedom. Become an ally to marginalized people who are often forgotten. Take action to support and affect those affected by systemic racism. Become an ally, standing up for individuals when necessary by speaking out when you hear people using racist remarks, stereotypes, or unjustified remarks of people of color, including denying that racism exists. This is going to take some courage and determination. Confronting people can be uncomfortable and intimidating. Nevertheless, it is imperative that we do so to fight for the unconditional equality for people of color. Because until we are all treated as equals, we cannot rest in the achievements we have made to date. Because a future where systemic racism is allowed to exist is a future we should not leave to our children. And I will leave you with these final words. Prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible. Maya Angelou. I want to thank this Black Scranton Project for allowing me to be here and all of you coming out. I do apologize for the hiccup with the paper. It is really cold up here. But once again, it is a pleasure to see all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ty. And before I introduce our next speaker, I just wanted to say, back to the theme of Black health and wellness, I am so grateful and so happy that Black Scranton Project has partnered with a lot of great organizations and helped make this event possible. So before I forget, I wanted to shout out a couple people. I really wanted to shout out the Geisinger Health Network, but especially Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine. The students there are fantastic and they have done such a great job in being part of the community. So I thank you guys and I applaud you for that. I also want to shout out the University of Scranton. I wanted to shout out to Center City Print for printing this beautiful program for us, and all of the other sponsors who are in the back of the program. Some of them aren't even listed here, but there are so many community partners in the city of Scranton, the DPW for helping clear all this, the Scranton Police for blocking off the street for us. So many people helped to make this event possible and help to support Black Scranton Project on a daily basis. So thank you so much. It means so much to me. And so, thank you. Pages are hard to turn. And so I'm so excited to introduce a student leader at Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine, Tiffany Adebansi. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Is the president of the Student National Medical Association at the School of Medicine. So.
Good afternoon, everybody. Like was previously said, my name is Tiffany Adebansi, and I'm a first-year medical student at the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine. I'm the chapter president of the Student National Medical Association, also known as SNMA. I'm a Nigerian American from Dallas, Texas. I received my bachelor's degree from Texas Tech University and a master's degree in biomedical sciences from Geisinger. My heart is for the advocacy of marginalized groups and women's health, and this is why it is such an honor to be standing in front of you all. Moving from Texas, I didn't know what to expect. I wondered if there would be people I identified with, if I would feel safe and welcomed as a woman of color. Nevertheless, I was eager to learn more about a community that was different from my own. Organizations like the Black Scranton Project make students like myself feel comfortable relocating to the area. They provide a sense of community that is strong, vocal, and proud to be Black in America, and more importantly, Black in Scranton. Black Scranton Project's presence and contribution to society cannot be overlooked. This resilience and persistence is the essence of Black History Month and the Black Scranton Project. SNMA 2 was founded on these same qualities. As a subdivision of the National Medical Association in 1964, they aim to include and support current and future underrepresented minority students. One of the main goals of SNMA is to serve as a credible and accurate source of information addressing minority issues in the field of medicine. SNMA aims to eradicate medical practices that further discriminate and mistreat marginalized groups from gaining access to quality care. But before we can do this, we must first become part of the community and listen to the needs of the people. This is why SNMA at Geisinger has made such an effort to create initiatives that support the community. On February 25th, 2021, Black Outreach Leadership Development and Employee Resource Group, also known as BOLD ERG, and the Black Scranton Project partnered to create Black Health Matters, a 3-part series aimed to expand the knowledge base of learners, educators, and our communities. The event did so by inviting healthcare professionals that look like us to engage in community-based conversations on topics that are rarely discussed. Similarly, SNMA participates in the Hypertension Barbershop Initiative organized by Bold ERG and Black Scranton Project. We hope by taking blood pressures, we can empower the community, with knowledge and their health. Our goal as aspiring underrepresented physicians is to serve the needs of marginalized communities and amplify their voices. We hope to work with Black Scranton Project and local Black businesses to understand and assess the needs of the concerns of the community. Last November, I got my natural hair professionally done for the first time ever at Scranton at Vanity Boutique. It's on Main Street. I remember the conversation that I had with the stylist, who was also the owner. She inquired about who I was and what I was doing in Scranton. I remembered giving her a synopsis about my desire to be a gynecologist. She responded with elation and told me how the community really needs that. We both knew what that meant. It wasn't that Scranton was short of physicians, but she wanted to see more representation in the field. What seemed like such a casual conversation acted as a source of reassurance that I was on the right path. We hope to learn from our communities and educate others on cultural competency to grow into socially conscious physicians of the future. But we cannot accomplish this without the Black Scranton Project, who builds the bridge for us. It is beautiful to see the progression of acceptance in this city. A city that once held a Klan parade is now boldly displaying Black history and culture. As you look around, I hope that you can see that we have brothers and sisters of different backgrounds here with us in solidarity, exemplifying the uplifting of Black history is not solely the responsibility of Black voices. As we continue to unify, I urge you all to continue to take a stand up for each other, for there is still much work to be done. So, as we raise this Pan-African flag, let today be a celebration of a recognition of the diversity within our community as we celebrate our history and heritage. Thank you so much.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Okay, now we're at the next fun part. I am so excited to introduce another musical selection from two sisters who are local from the community. Their names are Anshe and Celia Smith, who are going to be closing out our program with Amazing Grace, and then we will raise the Pan-African flag.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears release. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first
so cold. You guys literally did a great job. Thank you guys so much, and thank you ladies for killing it once again. We're at the best part of the program now. I'm going to, I guess I could do it. I mean, I'm up here. We're gonna raise the Pan-African flag now. Normally, Travis, our director of art, usually raises the flag first, but he was unable to make it today. So I guess I will take over his role in the ceremony. Okay.
Shout out to the Scranton Ice Festival for creating this fantastic ice sculpture for us. Thank you, City Hall, for allowing us to fly the Pan-African flag. I am so proud of our city. I am so grateful, and I'm just hoping that our ancestors are so proud of what we're doing today. Just to see the flag and the sculpture means so much to me, and I thank you guys all for making this all happen. We put a lot of work in. I put a lot of work, my heart and soul, into Black Scranton, and I do everything I do for the community because I believe, I just see so many beautiful things in our community, and I've seen it literally since 1800. And I'm just so ready to have our history brought to the forefront because for so long, I didn't feel proud of where I'm from. And this right here really proves to me that like you can be proud and you can literally do whatever you want if you go after it and you work hard enough for it. And I know that sounds cliche, but if you really put the work in and you really believe and you really dream hard enough, anything is possible. And let the Center for Arts and Culture be that for you guys. And I literally cannot wait for the day that all of you guys can go in there and like celebrate with us and create art and create music and create community, because it's coming, it's happening, guys. So thank you all for bracing the cold with us and being here. I thank you so much.